So I don't know what's going on here. Why would you make this response video? But if Penguin Zero is talking about it, it's probably pretty important.
I'm on a losing streak in League as my elo's being terrorized by criminals left unchecked on Summoner's Rift, so I'm not really in a good mood and I'm not feeling really nice, but I took a breather.
Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you play that game?
And the first thing I see on YouTube's recommended is this puppy right here from Ned Pulmer about
Never heard of him
trying to address the backlash to his podcast. This was posted 5 days ago. I don't know why it's getting recommended now. Maybe because I made a video on the podcast like a month or two ago. I don't know how long it's been now. About how it's like one of the most awkward podcasts ever filmed. So now YouTube decided,
Charles, I do remember this. I reacted to this.
We know you've had a bad day, but don't worry. We've got your medicine right here. It's just what the doctor ordered. A nice dog shit apology from Ned. That's not his wife in the bed, Fulmer. Joy. Can't wait.
Hello.
Internet drama.
I've heard a lot of the commentary and reactions to my podcast episode with Ariel, and I wanted to take this video to address some of them. That episode with Ariel was mostly about her story, and now in this video, I'll tell a little bit more of mine.
Did we watch the same podcast, Ned? You sure about that? Was it really mainly her story? Because it seemed like you were the one kind of guiding the whole conversation that you...
Yeah, wasn't it the thing where, didn't he, like, cheat on his girlfriend and was talking to her about how that made her feel or something like that?
You were kind of steering the ship here, which is one of the major complaints. Not only was the whole thing a terrible idea from the get-go, bringing in the wife that you cheated on with one of your employees, to just kind of talk about it in front of everybody, which is just always going to be weird to hear, just being the fly on the wall for a very uncomfortable conversation like that. But the conversation also went with you in the driver's seat, which feels like the antithesis of what it should have been with letting your wife air out everything. And if it was supposed to be therapeutic for your...
And really, you shouldn't have made that public. You shouldn't have made a podcast about it. That was just a huge L. Money grab situation.
Wife, why wasn't she the one that was kind of in charge to lead this discussion?
And why was it even a thing in the first place?
Was you. Pull off the mask of the villain here for the Scooby-Doo episode. It's Ned Pulmer. Like, it's just... You're not even... like digesting the comments that you're supposed to be addressing.
There's a lot that we wanted to keep private, but some things I'll touch on today.
Hey, bud.
Then why make it public at all? If you got to keep things private, why make it public? Because that means we just don't have all of the information. So what's the point? You shouldn't have said anything at all. These people on the internet, man, they just don't know how to shut the fuck up.
I personally think all of it should have been kept private.
Yep.
You don't owe the internet an explanation for what's going on after your cheating. There's no reason to invite everyone inside for all the dirty laundry and everything behind the scenes. Just keep it private. I think that probably would have been the healthiest thing for all parties involved. That's just my... He probably hasn't ever seen views like that, so he decided he was going to make a response. Because views, they're a hell of a drug. My personal opinion on the matter, but I gotta tell you, I think a lot of people shared that sentiment because this is something so personal and so devastating that putting it all out here in the public just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially when it seems like the main purpose of it was to launch your podcast, the fucking rock bottom podcast, whatever garbage that is, which, by the way, nobody's watching, Ned. First episode blew up because nobody could believe that you would actually bring on your ex-wife to discuss you cheating on her with one of your employees. That is just an unhinged idea.
First, I know that it was a very painful and uncomfortable conversation to watch.
Yeah, maybe if it was framed as if it was like interrelationship drama, then maybe it would have worked. But I think they were doing it as like a serious feelings type of podcast.
I know for some of you it reopened things. For us, it felt like a necessary step to be able to move forward. We knew we...
Yeah, they got real serious about it. That's why this is such a fucking stupid issue.
We'd always get these sort of questions in any context online. And and it felt like the only way to move forward was just to face it head on.
On a podcast that you're launching? That was really the only way? Look, man, far be it for me to question how Ariel wants to heal and move on from this. That's entirely her decision to make. But if this was a necessary step to try and address things head on, why did it have to be on your podcast that you are launching on the back of this episode that is exploring her feelings on having her whole life devastated from your unfaithfulness? That surely is not the only way. If you wanted to address everything...
Yep, and now she's got to relive that moment over and over and over again.
Like head on, you know, both feet planted, getting like rough and tough with it. Why not just release like a joint statement or something, perhaps, if you needed this to be a public-facing thing in order to move on to, you know, clear the air of everything and rumors and whatever. It didn't need...
Or he could have just done what Dr. Disrespect did and just been like, hey guys, I cheated on my wife. That sucks. I'm a horrible person. All right, moving on.
Need to be in an hour and a half or whatever podcast that you're starting. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, unless of course the actual motivator for it is to try and get back onto YouTube and be able to make money on the platform again. Because he is launching a product with it.
As has been reported in
1,000%. That's what it was about. I knew it.
Interviews, launching the podcast with a conversation with Ariel was Ariel's idea. She's a stakeholder in the Rock Bottom podcast and this new channel, and she wants it to be successful. So that was part of the reason why, in terms of having that conversation, we did it together rather than on any other platform.
I couldn't possibly know the inner workings of this business partnership. Haven't seen the...
It sounds fucking ridiculous and retarded.
Contracts. All I can say is that feels very odd to me, because this seems like a business partnership strategy that heavily favors Ned. So I don't fully understand that, but I just really think that this is something that didn't need to be shared in this fashion.
Yeah, I feel like I'm losing brain cells every day that I stay on the internet because of shit like this. It's fucking ridiculous.
After Discovery, I started an intensive...
I'm flabbergasted.
...program of therapy, group therapy, and work to really try to understand what I had done, why I had done it, and what it meant for my relationship and my life.
That's cool, man. I'm not your therapist, but I feel like the reason you did what you did
was for views and money.
Is because it's something you wanted to do. In the podcast and in here too, he keeps making it seem as though he didn't know that this would be painful for his wife to be fucking one of his employees.
Yeah, he's retarded and a freak.
Which I think is so odd, especially the way he presents that. But he's talking about like his journey to coming to terms and realizing that what he did was bad, and realizing that what he did is cheating.
All of these mental clouds that help you continue behavior that you know is hurtful, and you still do it anyways. So it let me face the truth.
He frames it like this was just an accident.
And acknowledge in no uncertain terms that I cheated on my wife with an employee of my business, and
that's really bad.
Caused her immense pain, and
especially the fact that it was with an employee.
Shattered our marriage.
Yeah, but was there ever any real uncertainty there to begin with, though, Ned? I feel like even if you had just been lobotomized, you would still be able to recognize that fucking someone that's not your wife is bad.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being lobotomized. I gotta move on from this story, because this one's just too retarded, man. It's too stupid. I feel like my brain is melting out of my skull.